This is Nucky. He is the boy who runs this place. Nucky. Yes, you are a handsome boy.
Woodbury Artist. I learned this song from a man that made one record. He made it in 1968, the year that I graduated from high school. Was from Faraday, Mississippi, and his name was James Carradine, but everybody just called him Cat Iron. So I'm going to do you this song here.
That's one of my favorite ones I ever did.
Jimmy Bell's in the pulpit. Jimmy Bell's in the section. Went told the bell. Cause shall not be no members here sure is going to hell. Sure is going to hell. Sure is going to hell. Cause shall not be no members here sure is going to hell. Alabama bound. One now. Sonny Boy Williamson did it like this.
It is not that early. It is like, I don't know. I'm holding the phone. That's why I can't look at the clock at the moment. I'm so tired. I'm still drinking my first cup of coffee. I only just took a sip. Seriously, honestly. I don't know why I'm even making this before that. So, this is my last... Oh yeah, I'm Marion, the Inappropriate Artist. I think this is my last morning in Clarksdale. And I'm going to be heading to Hot Springs, Arkansas to go fill up from these freshwater springs on my water. It's just like a total cool benefit. I'm so psyched. I had filled up water at the campground that I was at, but the water is staying seriously discolored and has an odor that is beyond anything I've ever smelled before. So, in water, my guess is it's not potable. So, I am not drinking it. I'm glad I didn't fill up my big tank with it. I only did 3 bottles. So I can dump them and then refill them with some yummy, good, sweet water. I'm just pooped. So yeah, I'm going to go fill up water in Arkansas. I'm excited. This is like, but on the way, so there was a young man, I did a live Facebook last night from the Bad Apple Blues Club. There was a young man playing harmonica, and he told me, he's really cool, his name is David, and Sean calls him David Freight Train Larson, and he is learning to play the harmonica, but as you could hear if you listen to the live video, or if you listen to some of the videos that I took of Clarksdale, I believe I included him on a couple, or at least one. So he suggested that I go to this place called Moon Lake. And when I looked up how to get to Hot Springs, it takes me right around Moon Lake. So I think I'm going to stop there. He said it's fabulous Mississippi cypress swamp. And so I am so excited to photograph it and spend a day there. And tomorrow's supposed to be gorgeous. So I would like to travel today. However, like, the weather is really unpredictable. I've got to really check it. I'd like to go and fill up, I'd like to go and get there tonight so that I have the day there tomorrow. And if I can stay 2 days, that would be freaking awesome. It is supposed to rain the following day. So we'll see how it all pans out. I can play things by ear. And I'm getting used to the rain. And as far as my leaks and stuff are concerned. So I'm just I've just grown to accept them for what they are. And a new van is in my future. So I'm okay with that. I have a lot of people giving me suggestions on how to fix it, but the main leak in the front, the one in the back, is really not a big deal, and I think it's actually traveling from the front. I don't think it's actually a back leak. I'm beginning to more and more think that that's the case. So I'm going to, because it doesn't pour in the back, it's like a little tiny drip, and right now I have, do you see that rag up there around the light that's usually there? Well, the light's still there, it's just wrapped up. So I did that, and it catches the leak, and it never gets like horrifically saturated. I also don't park so that I'm angled that way, so that's part of it, right? Like I've noticed that, like, when the angle of the van changes, the trajectory of the leaks change. So but in the front, it's very consistently just like pouring in the front. So I stuff towels all across and the towels get soaked, and then I take them out and I dry them. But at least it's not leaking on the dashboard or on the steering column anymore because I catch the water. Stuff like that matters. As we found out, because I've already had a smoking steering column, had to replace the entire turn signal mechanism. So it like melted completely. Yeah. But like, I don't know, maybe this is turning into a talking video. It's okay. After, I'm gonna have so much editing to do for all my Clarksdale videos all my Clarksdale videos, because I think there's more than 2 even, possibly. We'll see. It's just so much stuff. And I gotta go through it all. It's just gonna be a lot of work. So for those of you who don't think this is work, you got another thing coming. All the editing. Editing takes a lot of time. And I put together definitely 2, sometimes 3. I have been slacking because my 3rd video is for my patrons. Although they're very understanding, because I give them all sorts of other stuff in the meantime. Like, as far as images of where I am, because it's in real time on Patreon. Um, and you get, if they upload, I still struggle with these lens clips. They don't always upload, and I don't know whether it's my phone or what, and I think I have enough service to upload, and it says it didn't do it, and so I right. So I'm thinking of trying to do it a different way. They're only 15-second clips, so I think I can time it out and then just use a video that I do through the regular. I don't know. I'm gonna figure this out. I saw something last night that I didn't realize I could do. So my patrons get the lens clips. So my patrons get the lens clips and get first viewing of all my artwork, and often get painter videos. I mean, if you become a patron now, I have such a backlog of videos. Keep yourself busy for quite some time before you notice that I've missed a couple. But it's because I have limited power, and videoing my painting, especially when paintings take upwards of 3 to 4 hours to complete. Although some I've been trying to do these timed. I'm not trying. I have been doing these timed paintings, which I started back doing them because I used to do them. I started back doing them after I was in Louisiana, and Betsy got me to do this exercise using an entire piece of paper, which still, it's so funny, and I need to start taking it out and showing it to people because I haven't been, because it's in the bigger portfolio and it's under the bed, so it's kind of a pain to get it out, and the other folder is just so easy to grab. But I did this awesome, I think, painting of a live oak in stained glass, and I call it Goddess in Stained Glass. And it's on a 10 by 14, I believe, piece of paper. I think that's the size of the block that I have, 10 by 14. Yes, 10 by 14. It's almost like 14 and a quarter because it's, it's European paper. So I usually cut it up into smaller pieces so I can do my small paintings. But this one, excuse me, I have allergies, and I had a lot of dairy yesterday. So anyway, it's big. For me, it's big. I mean, for me, it's big in the van. I've done much larger paintings. When if you go back, you can see some footage I took of some of the works on Japanese paper that I used to do, and most of those are fairly large. So they're usually 20. Some of them one of them is 26 by 38, and I know there's random sizes because Japanese paper doesn't come in traditional sizes either. So there you go, there's that. And I did sometimes tear it up into different shapes and sizes and stuff like that, but I'm just letting you know those are some big pieces that I've worked on. And when I have a stationary place to work and I can set up outside the van, Japanese paper is something I could work on again. But the reason why I haven't been is because on Japanese paper, I have to paint in I paint one layer first. I have to let the whole thing completely dry. And that's not just the paint drying. The paper has to dry and get taut again before I can go back in and paint again. Japanese paper, when it gets wet, becomes fugitive, which means by fugitive I mean it can tear apart very, very easily. So maybe fugitive's not the right word. It becomes very fragile, for sure. So, and I really soak the paper when I'm painting on it. So, and then each layer, it has to absolutely dry, right? So I had a painting that took me probably 10 days to complete because I could only paint on it for like an hour or two, and then it had to dry. So and I would let it dry for 24 hours. That's the best way for me because I'll rush it and ruin it. So if I painted for a short period of time on it and then let it dry overnight and like went back to it the next day, it was a better way for me to work on it. I keep looking back in the corner because I know that I have a huge piece of Japanese paper in there that somebody gave me, and back in North Carolina, and I really want to paint on it. I really want to do kind of like a giant version of my goddess. And I think Japanese paper is exactly the way to go. Especially for the stained glass effect. I think it's going to look so freaking cool. But it is something that I can't do with Nugget around. So, like, I would have to do it in a space that she can come into supervised. But not, because the Japanese paper will be too tempting for her. She'll put her paw on it, I mean, even my other paintings, but the paper is stable and the paper is sturdy. And she's walked on some of the paintings. I mean, obviously when they're dry or brushed up against them or whatever. But with the Japanese paper, if she brushes up against it, because it's actually the pigment that keeps the paper in place when it dries. So, like, that's another reason why I like to do that. I like to work on polypropylene, which is a plastic corrugate. Some of you have seen it. Like, this is what it is, right? For a multitude of reasons. It's very easy to clean off. Is the backside. Isn't that fun? Could do like a reverse painting. Oh, that's an idea. Although it doesn't stick on this very well. I could clear coat it, I suppose, but I don't know that would stick very well either because it's acrylic. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But when I work on Japanese paper, I paint the first layer. It's like I spray it down with water so that it gets soft, right? And it can, and I make sure it's perfectly flat on the polypropylene. And then as it dries, I can start to work. I can work on it wet, but I can only work on it in a very thin layer. So like my first layer is really transparent gouache. I water it way down. I don't even have to water it way down. It's just the paper itself is. But I don't put heavy pigment on it until later. So by putting this, what I believe is happening, and I could be wrong, but I think what's happening is gouache has a little bit of gum, I believe has a little bit of gum arabic in it. To bind everything. So, and I'm not sure, but I think so. And when I put it on the Japanese paper in a wash, it dries, and I believe the gum arabic is what helps to make it sticky to the polypropylene for a little while. And it keeps it kind of like sucked up on there, so I don't have to use any tape. It's really kind of cool. And then once it's dry, I can do the next layer, right? A little bit thicker, a little bit more opaque. And the beautiful thing is that, like, the transparency that is offered is so lovely on Japanese paper. And then if I back it with something white, you know, like a white mat board floated on a white mat board, or make sure that there's at least white mat board behind the Japanese paper itself, it illuminates it beautifully. Just, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I think that goddess on stained glass would come out looking fabulous. Oh, excuse me. And also, like, the paper changes consistency almost in combination, because by doing it this way, the gouache actually becomes a part of the paper. And I really, because the paper is made, you know, with water, you know, I mean, that's part of the process. You know, it's in a tray with water and it flattens out, and then they have to pull it up on a screen and dry it, and, you know, so water reactivates the whole process, paper making process. And I do believe that when I put the wash on, it somehow breaks apart and comes back together a little bit more solid because also of the gum arabic in the paint. Don't quote me on it. I'm not sure. This is an observation that I am making. And I could totally be wrong. So if there are paper conservators out there, or people who, like, if anybody from Talus is actually watching, Talus, I'm going to keep saying it, Talus, best paper company ever. They, you can buy bookmaking supplies with them. But they're experts on their Japanese paper, and best supplier I've ever worked with. I dream someday of going to their Manhattan store. It's about the only reason I want to go to Manhattan. There's one other, the Frick. But yeah. So, I would like to work on Japanese paper again. I'm thinking about it. So, off to Moon Lake, I'm going to go. Not right now. I'm still deciding. I'm going to watch the radar. Because if it's really bad, it's safer for me to just stay in place. I'm in a safe spot. I'm someplace where I've met people, so if I need help, it'll be easy to find help, right? You know, like, I'm just thinking realistically. In case you're wondering what I'm looking at, it's muddy. Whoop, sorry. Hi, Muddy. He's watching out for me now. I love it. I'm so stoked I put it up there. I put it up with a piece of industrial Velcro. It's on a block of wood. So, van art at its finest. And industrial Velcro is a van lifer's best friend. I'm just telling you right now. Or at least this van lifer's best friend. So that is my ramble for today. My morning ramble. You got a full-blown morning Babylon. Oh, I haven't even finished my first cup of coffee yet. That's how raw you got me today. There it is. First cup finished. As you know, most of you, this is my little friend. Makes my favorite. Just perfect. All right. Oh, if you like this video, you're awesome. You give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really wish. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you would consider doing so. I am trying to build my subscription levels so that I can get monetized someday. Yes. The dream, right? The YouTube dream, get monetized. No, it just really would help with finances. So, and achieve the goal of getting a new van. Yes. Because it is a very important thing. It's not just because this van is struggling. It's because it's actually mechanically a freaking beast. It's just rust is my enemy. Well, they tell you to, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So I can live with my rust. Anyway, sorry. If you want to be notified every time I put out a video, hit that notification bell. And if you'd like to contribute toward, the journey, I have links below. There's my Patreon, which is at the top of the list. And then you have my PayPal, which you're welcome to throw money at anytime. I never say no. My Instagram. So my Instagram is at theinappropriateartist, and you can see all of my artwork on my Instagram. It also, I leave up the pieces that have sold so people can look at my work all the way through from the beginning. I just mark them sold when it happens. Okay. I am now going to make a second cup of coffee because, as you can tell, it's really necessary. And thank you for joining me today. You're a champion if you made it this far. Truly a champion. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye.